Hey Sonic, no time to waste. Let's go and find the secret exit in Deep Keep. Right, roger that, buddy. Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is I am the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog here, aka the Blue Blur, aka Blue Justice. And I am Knuckles the Echidna here, and I'm an Echidna Warrior. And we are back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Wii U / Nintendo Switch. So, last time, we've essentially managed to explore for the fourth world in the game by the forms of Sea Breeze Cove, and overall, that was actually quite an interesting experience, despite the fact that we do occasionally die at one point for certain stages, most notably because no matter what though, for certain levels, that we're going to be spending most of our time swimming underwater. So because of that, exponentially speaking though, as far as for our progression goes, it's actually gone okay enough. So because of that though, yeah, and I believe relatively speaking though, is that we somehow made our way to the actual boss fight in this world. But then again, we'll save that particular boss fight for later. Just because today for this video is that we're also able to go back into, as you can tell, we are going back into Deep Keep because as far as I'm aware, we can able to actually find the secret exit. So because of that, and I think, if I recall correctly for this point, is that we might able to actually get ourselves our next puzzle piece, because technically we were supposed to able to actually obtain one from our first attempt of this particular stage, but because no matter what though, we've been so hasty from the sake of the forms of our previous attempt, so this means no matter what though, we will save that until whenever we finish up everything for the entire world. So that's what I was expecting for this point. So, and hopefully we should be able to actually stumble across into the other two stages, because once we're done with those two stages coming up, obviously we will able to once again unlock the temple level. So yeah, because fundamentally speaking though, is about the fact that we were originally trying to able to, there's a heart right there, so we can able to refill our health in case if we do get hit a couple of times. Now, for this particular spot right there, in order able to actually access to the secret exit, is that we need to activate this, instead of going to the right, like what the current just almost forces us to go there. But thankfully, we've managed to get ourselves Dixie Kong with us, so this means we must able to head back, and exponentially, while trying to able to avoid that particular spinning spikies and stuff like that. Well, you notice with that particular random object, it somehow came down. Not only it gives you a puzzle piece, but eventually as soon as you continue swimming while simply using Dixie Kong, this way you would able to actually access to a secret portal, which means secret exit. So because of that, and I believe that what leads us to 4-A. So now I believe, if I recall correctly, we might go back onto the surface again. So yeah, and I think relatively speaking, we might able to come across into that specific level type we might be familiar with ever since in Donkey Kong Country Returns or something. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So either way though, let's get to it with the forms of 4-A, which I believe this level is called Rocking Relics. So yeah, relatively speaking though, is about the fact that I get the strong feeling is that this entire stage is all stormy out there. So because of that, yeah, because gotta think about it though, Sonic, is that unlike in sometime on Monday, or Tuesday rather, jeez, it's actually really stormy. Well, thankfully for this point today, is that the storm itself is now eased down, at least for now anyway, so hopefully we shouldn't able to actually have too much trouble for the sake of the forms of trying to able to come across into storms during that time, well, exponentially until, at least for now anyway, like I said before. So anyways though, so let's go ahead and get ourselves the next puzzle piece for the sake of the forms of this entire game, or specifically the first puzzle piece on this stage, by going to the bonus area again. So yeah, you see what I mean about the fact that it gets a little bit more repetitive at one point for the exactly same rooms and all that stuff. Like, I just wish there was actually more variety in them, unlike the forms of how it does on the Super Nintendo games. At least on the Super Nintendo games do have different variety when it comes to the forms of certain bonus areas for sure. Like, for instance, kill certain amount of enemies, as well as the forms of trying to go through a serious amount of obstacles, even with some unique gimmicks to it. So in some cases though, that's my only main gripe I have with the game. But aside from that, yeah, for the most part though, it's pretty self-explanatory. And as far as I'm aware, oh yeah, this is what happens right there if you activate a special move with Cranky Kong by your side. Basically, this allows enemies turned into a banana coins. So, if you're almost running out of those banana coins, then this special move will be good for you. So, well, exponentially speaking though, Knuckles, if you do manage to care about the forms of specific items you want to use, for help you for certain advantages if you're having struggles with the forms of certain levels throughout the majority of the game. So, in some cases though, you probably get the idea until when it gets to the point until on the 5th world and onwards. Then sometimes though it's about the fact that we might able to actually buy something in Journey forms of Funky Kong shop during at some point whenever we try to able to go into some hardest parts throughout the game. Because there is actually that one in particular level that I don't think it's possible we can able to do this with Donkey Kong all by alone. Well, exponentially though, if you're assuming of course if depending on what mode you play on, well, then again, we'll pretty much have to save that particular topic until in a later time. So, for now, we'll just go ahead and just keep on, you know, bouncing onto certain enemies and what have you. And that way, we should be able to get ourselves, what else? Another puzzle piece. So, we'll just, bounce upwards. So, in some cases, though, I think, if I recall correctly, is that this particular music in the background, well, assuming if we go back up to the surface and stuff like that, oh, there was one little thing we weren't able to classify for something, is that those sharks in certain water sections is by far the most annoying enemies in this entire game for me. Not only just because they just somehow directly home in on you, but also no matter what though, they're extremely fast and they are sometimes felt a bit unpredictable at points. So yeah, this could potentially be a problematic as soon as we're able to get into one of those levels coming up until the 5th world, until specifically next week or so. So because of that, there goes Cranky Kong with us. So, and I think fundamentally speaking though, is that this particular stage also contains a secret exit. So yeah, this might give us a bit of a strange situation for right now. But regardless of everything else though, oh jeez, I was not hesitating for that. Although the reason why I decided able to go in there, because the bonus area is right here. So, thank God I actually noticed that right from the start. So, in some cases though, once again, collect more bananas, thanks to the bombs and those barrel cannons. So, and I think, fundamentally speaking though, Sonic, is that I'm pretty certain that if we do find the normal exit, I believe that takes you straight onto level 4-3, at least as far as I can recall that. So, relatively speaking though, is about the fact that the secret exit is required if you really want able to actually go through every single, like, you know, levels in the game, especially concerning for the fact that, you know, if you really want to go for the temple level coming up, well, you probably already expect what's to come. So, anyways, so good thing we can now able to actually dive in underwater in these sections this time around though at the very least, whilst unlike in, you know what I mean, the majority of the beach set of levels in Donkey Kong Country Returns, that the water instantly kills you for some reason, whilst in here, the water is not that much of an issue this time around. So, well, it wasn't until whenever we get to the later worlds though, then you pretty much already exactly know what to expect. So, but either way, let's just go ahead and keep on swimming about, and I think we do need to obtain those banana bunches, as far as I can recall, while trying to avoid those urchins. So, and I believe that pretty much gives us a puzzle piece, if I recall. So, yep, as far as I hear this familiar jingle, then this actually proves that. So, god dang it! Oh well, no big deal, but at the very least we kept that puzzle piece, so... But, unfortunately though, we've lost our O, so we need to reclaim that until whenever we decide able to get back to that certain point, so... But it doesn't go nearly too far, I don't think, so in some cases though, we'll bring, let's just say, Dixie Kong with us, just in case for, certain, helpfulness, so, you know, for the ponytail and everything, so... But either way, oh, you can also decide able to skim this throughout, especially concerning for the fact that, well, obviously it doesn't really matter what partner you do bring along with you. Either Diddy Kong, or Dixie Kong, or Cranky Kong, then obviously you can able to actually do some little water jump skimming, just like in, well, I know for a fact that it's been about 2 days ago since we've last played this for sure. I mean, relatively speaking, though, it's about the fact that at the very least we still managed to get ourselves some pretty decent progression. Or to be more specifically, not just by the forms of this world, but it's also about the fact that we're actually doing pretty well for its entire uploading schedule so far, for the majority of the forms of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze at that point. So, and also, as far as I'm aware for this point, Sonic, is about the fact that recently Ray the Flying Squirrel, he's already now working on to the 5th world in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and that's as a result it appears to be Funky Minds. So, yeah, we still haven't got into the 5th world just yet though, just because we're still on the middle of the forms of this world in particular, but hopefully by that time for this point though is about the fact that, oh, there's a puzzle piece right there, as soon as we collect all that these, or we've collected, rather, for all of those bananas. So, but there was a heart in there, which I almost assume we're gonna able to keep Dixie Kong with us throughout the majority of the level, but oh well, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So, anyways, a few things we want to explain for this point today is that, well, today's date, of course, is the 25th of January today, in some cases in 2024 today. Relatively speaking though, for those of you who lived in the UK countries, happy 5th year anniversary of the game's release of Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey for the Nintendo 3DS. And while looking back on it though, I still find that game to be quite enjoyable, even with the Bowser's Inside Story portion of the game to me, which is especially noticeable concerning for the fact that I notice it seems a little bit overly redundant of how some people managed able to point things out, because technically you can able to actually play not one, but 2 versions on one specific system on the Nintendo 3DS. Those are the original version on the DS and the other for the 3DS remake. And at least we already know right from the start though is about the fact that obviously that game did not sell very well for the remake. Well, it did sell pretty well in the original version just because of how cool and unique how the sprite work it actually turns out to be. But the reason why that the 3DS version sold so poorly, and it's probably the worst selling Mario games of all time, mainly because it was on the late 3DS's life cycle, or perhaps even maybe the majority of the players out there have already experienced Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story on the DS version while playing through on the 3DS thanks to the actual backwards compatibility. So, at least as far as I'm aware. So anyways, let's go ahead and do this last section, and for the most part, we are done. Well, not exactly, because if we go here, there's our final puzzle piece on this stage, so making a grand total of 9. So, but at the very least, we did somehow find them all in one run, so at the very least, that's something. So, well, exponentially speaking of Knuckles, we've only did somehow found the normal exit, because if I recall correctly, that we do need Cranky Kong to able to actually access to the secret exit, which pretty much leads us to that level at the very top, or likely so north, if I recall. So, but even then though, yeah, nothing else to say about this, I guess. I mean, sure, no matter what though, we are so appreciated about the fact that we are getting very close. It's also worth noting for this point, Sonic, is that we are almost getting close to 800 subscribers so far. Oh, really? Well, yes, exactly, because I know for a fact that a lot of subscribers out there who do manage able to support our channel. So, relatively speaking, thank you out there for able to actually continue our support for this entire channel so far. Yeah, which is especially noticeable concerning for the fact that despite with ups and downs, especially concerning for the fact that, well, you know what I mean about the fact that it's been about a week ago now since we've actually caught COVID for the second time. Well, let's just not talk about that right now for this point, Sonic, because, well, let's face it though, COVID sucks. Yeah, tell me about it, especially concerning for the fact that it almost, like, ruins everything for the majority of the whole of everything, basically, so, but I love doing that, especially concerning for the fact that with the actual Cranky's, pogo stick technique, you can able to actually have the ability to get rid of those little, spiky egg, objects, as far as I'm aware. Which is especially noticeable, it does manage to help you throughout if you tend to able to keep on getting hit by those things quite a few times. So, But either way though, there's also another thing I want to address something about this as well. We were originally able to take a break on playing Mario Kart Tour for now, but as it turns out, we definitely need to try to get the new driver after all, and that's what appears to be the orange color variation of Bodo, and as a result, yeah, wish us luck, especially considering that particular unlockable method it's incredibly luck-based, and it doesn't help about the fact that there is no way we can able to actually get those characters in journey forms of the daily spotlights, which is a kind of unfortunate thing, especially considering for the fact that we've almost gotten every single super variants for certain playable characters for sure. Likely, for instance, with the majority of the actual color alterations for certain characters, for Bodo, as well as Shy Guy and Yoshi's essentially. But no matter what though, I still find this to be incredibly luck-based, you know. Alright, so in this part right here is that we need to do an exact timing moment right there, but unfortunately we failed. But if you do manage to try to go back to the left, likely for instance is that this particular spiky eggshell thing, or this spiky ball obstacle, just somehow no longer shows up. But if you manage to backtrack for a bit, and then you're able to, let's just grab a heart. So just in case we can able to just, well, there you go. The actual thing does respawn after all. So, and there's a good reason for that, because if you really want to go for 100% completion, well, there's that secret exit right up there for that particular secret portal. So, anyway, third time lucky, hopefully, and we should be able to pull this off. So, there we go. So we grab the vine, and exponentially we can able to get into the secret route. So, that pretty much leads us to World 4-B, and as far as I'm aware, World 4-B is actually kind of unique, especially considering for the fact that I get the feeling we might go back onto the underwater swimming after all. But here's the catch though, is that as you can tell, it's filled to the brim with treasure chests, as you can see. So in some cases though, here we go on to World 4-B, short a troll, I think it's what it says anyway. So, again, I do apologize for that mispronunciation of that specific level names, because again, it's been about 2 days ago since we've last played this game for sure. So, anyway, so here we go onto this level, and I don't think there's anything else on the left, so we'll just continue going forward. And there's a K right from the get-go, so pretty cool. So, yeah, I don't think it's possible we can able to... Well, there is something up there, which, if I recall correctly, it appears to be body forms of that puzzle piece up there, so... Yeah, it's definitely a little bit trickier, but we'll try to figure something out as soon as we're able to, you know, complete everything on this entire world, aside from the boss fight. So, anyway, so... Hey, say, Knuckles, since that you do like treasure hunting, right? Oh, what's that exactly? Well, in this particular level's gimmick, as you can tell, we are starting to be able to trying to find multiple colored treasure keys. But before we get onto that though, there's a bonus room right there, which I believe in order to get to there is by using Diddy Kong with us, just in case if you try to press the A button, Diddy Kong could actually give you a massive swim boost. So yeah, at least that's actually a pretty cool, recommendable thing I was expecting to do. Well, I did manage to try to test this out on the Wii U version for the Dixie Kong companion, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough, although maybe I'm wrong. But either way, as you can tell, since that we somehow grabbed the red key, and if you come across into a corresponding treasure chest, likely the red treasure chest, this actually opens up a different colored key, specifically the green key. Oh, this does remind me of something related to Wario Land 3, isn't it? Well, except the fact that unlike in Wario Land 3, that obviously no matter what though, you can only try to go for one treasure at a time, or depending on what run-throughs you go into, depending on what levels you go into. In here though, I believe we need to activate all 4 of those treasures, because as you can see, there is that massive door over there, which in order to do that, we need to open up every single treasure chest. So that's the key to victory when it comes to likely experience this level. So, oh jeez, I'm almost running out of air, which I think we somehow did, didn't we? Yeah, I was thought about that, especially because no matter what though, we've almost gonna die, but thankfully we've got an air bubble with it, so... Yeah, something about the forms of that previous level as far as we've somehow experienced, you know, with the forms of that particular 4A, right? Oh yeah, what about it? I'm pretty sure that music is actually familiar as well, at least as far as I can recall anyway. That music was actually heavily borrowed from Donkey Kong Country 2 as well, I guess. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, but then again though, it's been 2 days, so... Like, I've already mentioned about this a couple of times already, but let's not repeat ourselves for this point just yet, so... Anyways, as soon as we grab all of these bananas in here, then we should be able to go through this particular hole right here. And I believe this pretty much leads us to not only some more air bubbles that we can able to somehow obtain, in case if we need air, but also is that if we go down here, while trying to avoid those puffy fishes, and as well as now we have to deal with the water current as well, and that way we should be able to claim the yellow key, and if we collect all of those bananas in that specific section, then a puzzle piece appears, despite we accidentally died due to the faults of that stupid puffish. So, you know what that means for this point, folks? Not only we have to recollect that Kong letters again, but also, get this, we have to recollect those keys again, so... Yeah, I almost assumed they were able to bring us a bit of a checkpoint system. Like, I keep on, thinking about like I was playing Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 all over again when it comes to the treasure hunting levels. Like, every time whenever you claimed a piece of the Master Emerald, basically though, the checkpoint did somehow currently activate if you managed able to find one of the pieces of the Master Emerald, like each and every single pieces as far as I'm aware. So, in some cases though, that's not the case in this particular level in some cases though, so yeah, we have to go for all that particular cycle all over again, so nothing really bothers me that much though, because thankfully this level's case is actually gets a lot of emphasis on exploration for the sake of the forms of this stage. And also, if I recall correctly, this stage is nowhere near as long as the forms of how it does on any other levels as we've already experienced so far, so... But at the very least though, for this point, Knuckles, we still managed able to claim ourselves some puzzle pieces after all, so nothing to worry about this for the sake of convenience as far as I'm aware. So, oh, and also another thing I want to mention about this as well, that generally speaking though, is about the fact that, well, I think, if I recall correctly, potentially speaking, that did you know that it's been about, you know, 15 years ago since that particular Powerpuff Girls special, or in some cases though, the Powerpuff Girls 10th anniversary series finale special called the Powerpuff Girls Roll has became 15 years old recently. Oh, is it serious? Well, technically speaking though, because I believe that particular special has first came out since technically in 2009, although I do remember, fundamentally speaking though, despite we haven't watched the whole thing back then, mainly because we're more into like, you know, experiencing Mario and Sonic stuff, of course, that was in the past, but also exponentially is that what I've heard is that there was actually a Mario Kart reference in that particular special, which, I gotta say though, that really caught my surprise, because especially concerning for the fact that obviously Mario Kart was actually popular back then, even to this day, thanks to the forms of, you know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and as well as the forms of any other Mario Kart games we obviously do managed able to enjoy, not just by the forms of experiencing online, they can play with random people around the world, but also with friends and all that, but also about the fact that we feel nostalgic memories for the sake of not only for its, you know what I'm saying about the forms of not only for its, you know what I'm saying. But either way though, I just have no idea why I say things like that, because obviously if you couldn't tell already, that no matter what though, I get the strong feeling, Knuckles, is that we are feeling a bit better at this point, so... Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing for this point, Sonic, which, as a result, that's definitely a good thing, so... Anyways, we've claimed the 5th and final key to be able to actually just to, you know, access this stage, and exponentially, as soon as you're able to put that 5th and final key on here, then obviously it just continues forward, and obviously the current will persuade you to go all the way to the end of the level as such, so... And I believe that pretty much does it for the most part, even though let's just check in here. And sure enough, there's the puzzle piece in here. So, and obviously we somehow missed one last puzzle piece, but then again, we'll be back for that. Until what if we decided able to go through the temple level next. So, yeah, I was gonna be thinking about it. But thankfully, we still managed to got Dixie Kong with us. So, at the very least, that we didn't lose her this time. So, that's something. So, alright, here we go onto the 4th temple level. So, I'm pretty sure we're actually onto the halfway point. In terms of completing temple levels, I'm pretty sure. Because as far as I'm aware, there is technically speaking though, let's just not mention about this right now for this point, Sonic. So, anyways, spinning spines. So, I wonder what this level's gonna be all about, huh? Although it will be still pretty difficult though, but thankfully though, with Dixie Kong with our hands, well, obviously we should able to make this level twice as easy, so... And I get the strong feeling, since we're in the 4th world after all, this means we can able to actually hear this amazing music in the background, which as a result, I can't even believe it's been a very long while actually, since we've last heard this particular upbeat music in the background, like you know what I'm saying with the Donkey Kong Country remakes kind of music or something, but either way. Alright, so once again we're just going to able to be very cautious with this. But again, if you mess this up, you have to start all over again, and not only that, you lose Dixie Kong in the process. So, and just like the forms of how it does it on Barbalassus or anything else like that, there's no Kong partner with you, so you have to able to do this with without that if you die a lot. So, anyways, let's grab this puzzle piece here. Alright, so it's time to fire our cannons. And, hopefully, without giving us too much trouble... Oh, jeez, there was that puzzle piece down there. Oh, nice save. Yeah, even though, despite the fact it might actually, like... Oh, jeez, those homing bees, where did they come from? Well, I don't know about you, Knuckles. We'll suppose we're able to find out. Oh, God. Okay. At the very least, we still lived. Oh, man. And also I get the feeling it does kind of reminds me of a similar vibe as in the 2nd temple level in Donkey Kong Country Returns, because obviously we now ended up in the actual lava section, so yeah, I was thinking about that. Anyways, next puzzle piece right here, as we've already claimed. And watch out for these little spiky stuff. Oh, we've lost Dixie Kong, no! Oh, jeez. But at the very least we got the 4th puzzle piece here. In the last section, we need to make our way to the very top while trying to able to not touched by lava. So, oop, okay. At the very least, we got all the puzzle pieces, and oh, that was it. Huh? We did somehow complete this on the 1st attempt too. That's actually pretty lucky on our parts. Yeah, which is especially noticeable concerning that we've almost felt a little bit too panicky at first glance, but at the very least we did somehow pull this off. So, yeah, without any deaths or anything else like that. Even though it's a shame that Dixie Kong is no longer with us, but hopefully we'll be able to get her again and join at some point in the future portions in the game. So, there's our 4th relic. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. So, yeah, as a result, you know what time it is. It's time to hunt for some more puzzle pieces. So, yeah, this is gonna be fun, right? Well, I hope so. Alright, so we made our way back to the end of that particular level, familiar. Well, as it turns out, we've now got Dixie Kong with us, so as a result, we should be able to do this this particular bonus area a lot more easier this time around. I'm hoping anyway, so... Oh, man. Alright, so it's got to be very careful, and just don't make a mistake, unlike last time, because obviously, my god, that was embarrassing. At least as far as I'm aware for this point, Sonic. At least as far as I'm aware. But there we go. We finally got the, well, the final puzzle piece on that particular stage. Oh my god. Hey, anyway, bottom match for the win. Just to grab some more banana bunches. And we are getting the heck out of here for this particular, you know, deep keep as a level itself. So, anyway, so now we're done with that. And I suppose the next level we're going to be doing next is... I don't know about you. What's your choice for this point, Sonic? Let me think of something, Knuckles. Let me think of something. I I'm aware we might also do a minecart level next. Good idea. Alright, so in this section right here, I get the strong feeling we do need to get every single bananas in this sequence. So, and if you do manage to successfully pull this off, the puzzle piece is right there. That wasn't that hard, don't you think? Yeah, I always thought about that. So anyways, this level. Alright, luckily enough, it's actually at the beginning of portion of the level, and you have to do a timing thing, by the way, because if you time it wrong, then obviously you miss your chance, because otherwise you have to do a continuous reset on that section. But that's what I'm saying. So anyway, let's move on to the next level. So yeah, in some cases in this level. Alright, I did manage to search in every area, but I think there was actually a hint somewhere to the right, and something tells me we do need to get every single bananas in a circular formation while surrounded by the forms of those jellyfishes, and sadly we've lost Dixie Kong due to run out of air, so... Alright, now we're gonna be moving on to the next level, which should be up here. Alright, so if I recall, there was actually 2 puzzle pieces that we somehow missed, so... Let's just say, for instance, that I get the strong feeling something to do with this particular box crate on the left. If we bring the bomb here, then that probably explains it, so... And the last puzzle piece should be at the end of the level, but you have to approach onto the far right, and that way you should be able to claim it. And despite the fact that that's what happens if you do manage to stand there for long, where basically the bomb explodes and you die instantly, so... Yeah, that's the catch to that particular ending section of this particular level, so... But at least, thankfully, though, you know, we are basically done with any other puzzle pieces grinding for, you know, for the time being anyway, for the sake of the forms of this week, so... But, I'm gonna say for this point, Sonic, is that we're doing pretty dang well. Yeah, despite we do come across into quite a few deaths from time to time, but regardless of everything else, though, we can still able to get some more extra lives later down the road, until specifically not only for the sake of the next world coming up, but also likely also for the continuation portion of this entire game, so... Alright, so that pretty much takes care of everything for this entire world, all except the boss fight. So, in some cases though, let's go and get into the boss fight itself. So, in some cases though, World 4-Boss, Fugu Face-Off. Kind of an interesting title for that particular boss fight. Now, as far as for this particular boss fight, as far as I'm concerned, I believe we do need to bring a different Kong this time around. Like, we've already had quite a few experiences with certain boss fights as Dixie Kong for about 3 times so far, so we'll just bring Cranky Kong this time around, because as far as I'm aware, he'll be a lot more useful, especially notable during combat in journey forms of underwater, so... Okay, it's time to face off against with Fugu. So, yeah, I think out of all the actual bosses in this entire game, at least from my experience anyway, this boss sadly is my least favorite boss as well. Not because it's hard or anything, but rather just because it requires a lot of too many things to deal with. Like, for instance, as you can tell, the entire arena is covered in body forms of some spiky shells all over the forms of the arena. But you can able to actually do multiple methods. You can able to deal the damage on the forms of Fugu. Like, for instance, you can either decide able to attack its weak spot, which appears to be the white part of the back, and you can also decide able to use those specific random fishy enemies to able to actually reflect it back as a projectile, so that way it counts as a damage. But relatively speaking though, it is definitely not easy to able to do a lot of swimming in combat while dealing with the boss fight, which is especially noticeable concerning for the fact that there are a couple of times though that we might able to actually get into some very weird collusion, But apart from those side things, though, it's not too bad, all things considered. Oh, and also you need to keep an eye on what the forms of your air meter as well, just to ensure you don't able to drown on this fight, because obviously if you dare drown at all, then you have to restart this entire fight all over again, so... But thankfully though, as far as I'm aware, we can able to actually beat him as much more quicker as I was expecting. Well, despite the fact though, on the other hand though, Sonic, it might actually took us about a couple of attempts. Well, to be more specifically, once you do manage to unlock something, once you're able to finish the game, so... Yeah, let's just save that topic until for later for this point, Knuckles. So, anyways, let's just go and try to avoid his, little third phase where it comes to, like, rolling between, you know, top and bottom for that little curve thingy. So... Yeah, for the most part though, it's about the fact that you're just gonna have to be able to just swim for your life and hope for the best, not to get hit too many times, so... But, yeah, in terms of everything else we can probably discuss at this point, that's as far as we can able to talk about for this point. I mean, no matter what though, hopefully we should be able to just, well, let Ray the Flying Squirrel be able to mention more details on some aspects during the Forms Event tomorrow, and anything else to be more specific, but, hey, at least it's something, so... Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! Quick, quick! Alright. Whew! That was close. Alright, button mash for the win. Oh, wait. I almost assumed that he's gonna get puffed up again. But thankfully, though, we got him in the last second, so... Oh, wait. And I'm pretty sure we are basically done everything for Sea Breeze Cove. So, at the very least, I don't have to worry about to deal with a lot of water involved. But, hey, you know, you get the idea. But either way, so that pretty much does it for that, and we now moved on to the 5th island. Oh, this looks interesting. And as far as I'm aware, this island is called Juicy Jungle. Oh, interesting. So I suppose we should probably end things off this point right here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Is that we're going on to the 5th world in the game, known as Juicy Jungle. So this sounds pretty juicy to me. Yeah, I love grapes so much. Yeah, we'll see you guys until next Tuesday. Later, fellas.